Good morning and welcome to the first devlog on this channel. My name's Ethan and I'm a solo software engineer specializing in web and mobile applications. I'm not a professional, I'm completely self-taught, and I've never worked a job in the field, but I hope to get there someday. For now, I'm just learning the craft and building fun stuff as I go. Some of the reasons I have for having this channel are I want to have a place to be able to look back on projects that I've done and inspire myself in the future, and I also want to be able to inspire other people to make cool projects and to keep learning. What you can expect to find on this channel are hopefully application builds from beginning to end, whether that's for web apps, mobile apps, or other platforms. And I also hope to maybe get into some game development, which I haven't done much of, but I am learning a little bit about currently and find it really interesting. So we'll see if maybe we can get to that somewhat in the future. So in this first series of videos, we're going to be creating a new project. We're going to be creating a version of my own Google Drive, a cloud drive that can store files, that can be downloaded, uploaded, moved around, all that fun stuff on the web. So for full disclosure, this is a project assignment from the Odin project, which if you don't know much about them, it's been a huge part of my self-taught programming journey. It's a project designed to help me get familiar with the Prisma ORM tool for more efficient and complex querying of a database. So my vision for this project is to end up with a somewhat stripped down version of something like Google Drive, OneDrive, or something like this, any other online file cloud system. So I've done a little bit of a mock-up here to get started. This is just done in Canva. A mock-up just to kind of get an idea of what we're going to look at, colors, some logos and things. I'm not going to be terribly focused on the UI element because this is really more about the implementation of the logic to make it work, but I like my projects to look nice when they're done. It makes me feel good. So we're hoping to have an ability to access folders, files within the folders, be able to create new folders and upload files. This project is going to be a server-side development project, so there's not going to be a front-end and back-end differentiation, because that in the course I'm taking is currently what we're learning how to do. So it's all going to be done on the server using EJS templates that are generated and sent back to the client, which limits us a little bit in how fancy we can get with the UI, but I think we can still do some cool stuff and make it a cool project. All right, so I've got my Notion project board all built out here. Did this a couple days ago, just to give me an idea of what we're going to get done, the different things that have to get done, so basic setup, configuration, all the fun stuff, authentication, creating everything, other features, some extra things we'd like to add possibly if I have the time. And I've got different blocks built out inside each one of these to give me an idea of what I need to do. Keep it small, simple for each step, keep it from getting overwhelming, make it seem like something that can actually be done. So all that said, I think I'm going to get started on this, give it a shot, see how far we can get, and I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. Okay, so it's been a couple hours and we've made some progress here. Went ahead and got through a lot of the bare bones initial setup that's required for an Express app. So here we've got the app.js file, and it's just got the basic things setting up the different portions. I'm using the model view controller pattern for this application. So here we can see we're starting to set up the routes. We've got the index router and then the users router. And the users router is what's going to hold the authentication later on. Haven't gotten to that yet, but we've started looking at the users router. So it calls this. This basically just finds the different routes that can be underneath index. So first of all, we've got just the regular index. It then calls the controller. So over here, we've got the index controller. And if we're going to the base route on the index route, it's going to take us here. And if we're going to a folder, we can add a variable in here that will then take us to the index folder get page. So right now we've just got basic stuff in here, just sending a basic message back to check the browser out. can see if we go to the index running on localhost, it just turns index page. But we went ahead and started getting the database set up, and this was the part that took a little while because I'm pretty new to Prisma and have not used it much. If we look over here, we've got our Prisma schema set up, and this just defines the database, defines how it's going to be laid out. So we've got 3 models in this database, or what I'm more used to thinking of as tables because I'm used to Postgres. But we've got 3 models: user, file, and folder. Our user is a pretty basic setup for a user. Got an ID, email, password, names. And then here is the relations. And this is the part I'm still having a hard time a little bit wrapping my head around exactly how relations work with Prisma. I think I'm starting to understand it a little better. It does seem like it's going to be a lot easier than using raw SQL to set up relations, so that's exciting. But we're going to have all the files that this user has in an array, and all the folders this user has in an array as well. Then down here we've got the file and folder models. Again, these are fairly basic. Just got ID, name, different things, the relation to the user that owns this file or that created this file, the type of file, file size, and then this is going to be the URL where it's going to be stored in probably Supabase storage. Then we've got the folder that this file belongs in, the ID which relates it. Then the folder model itself is going to store some interesting self relations. So it also relates to the user like the other things do. Then it's going to relate to itself. So the folder model can relate to itself and a parent. So this is how we're going to figure out if a folder is a root folder, has no parent, or if it has parents, we'll be able to track and see what the hierarchy is. Same with the children of it. We're going to do a self relation of folder and relate to the children of that folder. So once we got that set up, which took a while, we've now been able to migrate that over to the running database that I have set up, the Postgres server. So I have it set up here. If I just do a list here of the relations, we can see that we've got these different tables set up: file, folder, and user. So I went ahead and created some seed data, just a basic seed file that will populate this with a couple dummy users, one dummy user, some folders, and some documents to go inside them, just so we can get an idea of how the structure is going to look, how that's going to flow. So we can see if I go to here and query. So we've done a basic select statement here, selecting all the lines from the folder table. And you can see our seed data put in 2 dummy folders. We've got one that we named root, one that we named documents. Got the ID here. We're using UUIDs here instead of basic number IDs to give us a little more flexibility. You can see it also has the user ID, so we can relate it to which user owns this. And this one does not have a parent ID because it's the root, but documents does. And so that's going to relate to a self relation to our root folder, which I think is going to be pretty cool. But basically, if we go ahead and copy this ID here, I ended today by doing a basic setup on our index controller, which our index router goes to. So on the index router, if we have a GET request for index /folder/ then the folder ID, that's going to trigger our index folder GET on our index controller, which we've got here. And I just did a basic setup for querying with Prisma. I'm going to be using a repository and services pattern for the database data and queries in this. Might be a little overkill, but I'm trying to learn how it works. So here we've got models, repositories, and one file in here so far, folder repositories. This is going to hold all of our Prisma querying functions for folders. So I set one basic one up. It's the folder repository class. So we'll hold all of our querying functions for folders in here. So one basic one, just an async function, find folder by ID, which returns the prisma.folder.findUnique, and we're going to find it by our ID, and it will include in the return files that folder holds and any children. So if we go back here and check out our index controller again, it's going to pull in our folder repo from here, which it exports, and then it's going to call it here. So we're going to get our folder ID from the request parameters in the browser, and then we're going to do folder repo.find by ID, which is going to run that function, and we'll pass in the folder ID we got from the request. And then we just did a basic console log to log out what we got. So let's go ahead and check that out and see if it works. We're going to put our terminal over here, make sure we are running. Looks like we are. So if we go back to our browser and do /folder / in the ID that we copied over and go enter, it's just going to redirect us to a basic folder page. But if we go back to here, we should see that it has console logged out our folder. So here we've got the folder we just passed in. So it's queried the database, found it, name of root, tells us when we last modified it, all that fun stuff. Parent ID is null because there is no parent of this folder. And then we've got the files array, so this just has one file in it, a basic dummy README file. And then we've got children, so children folders are set up in here as the next folder down, ID, its name, and all of that. So eventually we'll be able to have this set up so that it'll display it in the browser, and then all the children will be listed out, all the files will be listed out. They'll all be able to be clicked and redirected to their individual links and all that fun stuff. So I think that's going to do it for today. Not a ton of visual progress, but a lot of back-end stuff going on, a lot of new things being learned, and so it's a lot of fun, and we're excited to continue it and see how it goes in the future. So thanks for sticking with me, and I hope you'll join me for the next one.